Autosport 2024 at the NEC. Good to bump into Josh Cook. Josh, looking well. Have you had a good break?
I have, thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a long winter. Lots going on, but yeah, it was good. But I'm pretty. I want to get something sorted and get going again now.
We're in that funny period at the moment, aren't we, where nothing's signed and nothing's there's nothing on you haven't signed on the dotted line yet, so we can't talk about anything that might be happening. And I don't really want to dwell too much on last season. So, what have you been doing in the meantime since the garage door came down at Brands Hatch?
You've not really made my whole current life situation sound very good, have you? Last year was terrible. Future's looking bleak. But how's the Autosport show? Yeah, last year wasn't great. We struggled, but the team and the crew on the car were mega. They did everything they could do. They worked tirelessly. So actually, in a way, to struggle as much as we did with inherent car issues that we knew we had, it was nice to be able to work with a team that just tried so hard with, knowing that in the face of it, we didn't really have a chance at all. So that was good. As you say about the future on the dotted line, I'm working to try and get something done. Whatever happens, wherever the 2024 takes me, I definitely can't endure a season like I did last year. In terms of results, it was tough, but I'm excited. There's lots of plate spinning. Got opportunities both in and out of touring cars, so hopefully we get something sorted. But right now, thought we'd come along to the show for the day. It's sort of the start of the season, the Autosport show. It's always been one that you get, you meet up with everybody after the break, you find out people's plans and meet with potential sponsors, and come up with a bit of a roadmap of plans ahead. And it's an exciting time. So for the first time, we're not actually exhibiting at the show. We decided to come as guests, and really enjoyed the day so far.
It's also an event, start of the motorsport year, where the rumour mill runs into overdrive, doesn't it? And I mean, if we were to believe 50% of what everybody's chatting about and all of the talking up that people are doing, wow, we've got an incredible season in the offing. I'm going to make an assumption that you will be on the grid. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that. I'll make an assumption that you're on the grid for 2024. Just thinking about that, we've got the Power Boost and the hybrid to look forward to. I still haven't quite got my head around the fun of qualifying, even though I've read it several times, but there's going to be some interesting changes for next year.
Yeah, I mean, the regulation changes look interesting. I mean, I think Alan and Toka have done the right thing by exploring new areas and new philosophies in qualifying. I think last year was probably not as exciting from a driving perspective and also a spectator's perspective. So, you get that. You get peaks of racing where we've had incredible close racing all the way through the year. We've had seasons that are a little bit more predictable. And I think if the one thing that we know about the British Touring Car Championship is it doesn't stand still and generally don't end up doing the same thing twice. So it adds another element for the drivers. It adds more elements for the engineers and the teams. And it's going to be something exciting for the spectators to watch.
Absolutely. Working on my assumption that you will be on the grid, a lot of learnings from last year. You and I spoke at various times during the season, and I watched the weight on your shoulders play quite a heavy part in the chats that we had. What can you take out of that as a positive and in terms of moving on?
To be honest, we know, we knew the struggles with the car. We knew the issues that we had. I've got quite a big engineering background. I've got a very deep understanding of the cars and the engineering behind it, and it pained me that we could not find a solution in season, because that's what we were doing, was working with all the tools we had with a limited track running to find a solution. We knew there were circuits that would favour the car last year, Knock Hill, places like that, which were good, but we knew that the long radius bends, high speed corners, the car was not good in. And no matter what we did, we just really struggled. So I feel like I absolutely worked 110% both behind the wheel and on the car, when I was back at base or whatever, but we just could not find a solution. So that was a tough one to take, because I'm if there's a problem, I want to try and solve it. And sadly we couldn't. So yeah, that was difficult. Paired with, I also really wanted to get the car back to where I knew it could be. Not just for my sake, but for the sake of Aidan and Jade as well. And maybe I took a little bit of that burden on my own shoulders, which I shouldn't have done. But I wanted to make sure that I did everything in my power to get the car back to previous years.
Did I see you in driving something else recently? A rather odd-looking vehicle.
Oh, it could have been a few things actually. Which one are you referring to?
The ones with the angled tops where you go round in circles and seemingly try to hit each other.
The F1 stock cars.
That
was good. We did that last year, in 2023, and it was a really good event. And we got to do it again this year. So hang on, we did it in 22, then we did it in 23, and it's really good fun. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to go into another form of motorsport outside of all of our comfort zones and show other sort of championships that really we've got no idea what we're doing.
And to go and have some fun, because I talk to all the drivers, and everywhere I go, and everybody I talk to, at some point there are stresses, there are politics, there's money, there's all the bits that go with being at the top of motorsport in the UK, and it must have been nice to just go and have some fun for a change.
Yeah, I do other bits and pieces. I do C1 racing now and again. Driving the F1 stock car was great fun. I do a lot of historic racing, and that is really, really enjoyable. Whilst I didn't have some success last year in touring cars, going to the Goodwood members meeting at the start of last year in the Cortina and putting it on pole with all those famous names, getting amongst all those drivers was just a real highlight for me last year. But it's not just about touring cars, it's all those other things which you can get enjoyment out of, which I know that I'm very lucky to go and do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that you're back on the grid for this new season, and I know the fans will be looking out for your race helmet, because there's been a lot of chat about your race helmet over the last couple of seasons. I thought it was brilliant. Are you going to change it, or are you going to go for the same one again?
I think I might change it if I'm back, I'm not sure, but it's getting that time. I think to be honest, all I'm going to do now for the rest of the day is I'm going to go over and spread a few more rumours around, see what else I can start.
Fantastic. Good to see you, Josh.
Cheers.